Podcast Answer Man episode number 52 is sponsored by AG Design over at ageedesign.com/podcast. More details on about a discount you can get right after this. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Podcast Answer Man. I am speaking really fast, and I have no idea why I haven't had any coffee. I am just talking fast. Anyway, I am so excited to come back to you with episode number 52 here. Episode 50 was recorded back on February 9th, the same day of Podcamp Nashville. I waited for some reason about 3.5 weeks or so before releasing episode number 51, which was my part one of my review of Podcamp Nashville. And of course, if you haven't listened to that, I encourage you to go back and listen to it. I only had 2 gripes, but overall, I had a wonderful experience at Podcamp Nashville. And I'm very glad that I attended, and I'm very thankful for a lot of the relationships that I strengthened there, some relationships that had already started, and very excited about some new relationships that I had made and established and looking forward to building into as well. Now, today we're going to continue on with basically just sharing with you some sound clips that I recorded while I was down there talking with some folks. Now, the first bit of sound clips that I'm going to, or the first sound clip that I'm going to play is a conversation that I had with 2 divas from DivaCast podcast, and Carrie and Sharon are 2 ladies who are a part of a 5-part podcasting panel known as the Divas, the DivaCast, and they do a wonderful job. If you have not heard of the DivaCast, I encourage you to check them out, listen to them. Since I've been back from Podcamp Nashville, I've resubscribed to their show because I don't know what happens. Every now and then I just do a huge purge of my podcast I haven't listened to in a long time. I have listened to the DivaCast in the past. I've loved listening to them whenever I had the opportunity, and recently fell in love with their show once again. If you have time, go and listen to the episode where they have the sex therapist. I think they had her on just recently, a couple episodes back. Very intriguing stuff indeed. And it's always fun to listen to ladies talk and just to hear their perspective on life. And they're just 5 ladies that just have a lot of fun together. And I think that's going to come through. I think you'll hear a little bit of that. And the neat thing is that these girls these were not new. Their podcast is not new to me, and my conversation with them is not new as well. We've had some interactions with email and possible voicemails, I think, in the past as well. But anyway, rather than me going on and on and on and on, let me just go ahead and play for you the conversation that we had during Podcamp Nashville.
Alrighty, everybody. Back here at Podcamp Nashville still. And I am with Carrie and Sharon from the DivaCast.
Yes. Hey.
And we've talked back and forth, I think, at least once or twice.
Yes.
You guys emailed several times. I've listened to probably 2 or 3 of your guys' podcasts. I wish I could listen to more. And
Did your ears bleed?
No, not at all. You guys have so much fun, and I think that's the beauty of podcasting. So there are, 4 or 5 of you?
5 divas.
So there are 5 divas, and just tell us about it. I mean, you guys always hear me, so I'm going to let them talk.
Well, we are 5 friends. We got together about 10 years ago, and just to be, I don't know, we're trying to get a deeper friendship. And then one of the divas, Suzanne, got cancer, and that sort of bonded us on a deeper level. And then after she got a clean bill of health, she decided to go back to school, and part of her thesis she decided to do via podcasting instead of writing.
Oh.
So that got her into the world of podcasting, and one day she said, "I think we should take the divas to the airwaves." And most of us didn't even know what podcasting was. Mm-hmm. I think I was the only one.
Right.
But we did, and it's just been a wild ride. It's been a lot of fun.
We've been podcasting now for about a year and a half.
Right.
Oh wow.
We have over 80 episodes out there. And it's just been a lot of fun. We have listeners that are very loyal, and we've had our ups and downs, but overall, it's been a fun ride. We've enjoyed it.
But it's really geared towards inspiring women to foster this friendships, because a lot of women feel like they're out there on their own. I know your wife Stephanie has a good, tight girlfriend.
Yes.
But a lot of women are really out there on their own, and especially if they have young children, they can feel like they're just doing it all by themselves. So that was our main thing, is to try to inspire other women to have the same kind of friendship that we found. So
and grow as women as we get older. Our focus is our audience is probably, our listeners are 30-something and older. So it's definitely women oriented.
yes.
Right. Now, tell me about some of how many would you say famous people have you encountered as a result of this? Somebody that just like blew you away, that they either listened or you found out that they listened, or somebody you've met as a result. Has that happened yet?
I don't know about famous people. I mean, we've been honored enough to interview some people. There's a woman by the name of Shanti Feldman that's an author, and we reviewed her book and actually interviewed her co-author of one of her books. Leanne Dolan, she's part of the Satellite Sisters, so we got to talk to her, but it's never been a situation where, someone really famous has known us, but it's been really humbling to be somewhere and have someone say to me, "Are you a diva?" And it's just like, yeah, really, really exciting that people, I mean, it's just kind of bizarre when you first get into it and realize, wow, they're really listening to us, you know?
Right. And we've also interviewed an author. He was a CIA assassin at one time, and he wrote a book, Roland Haas, and it was My Secret Life as a CIA assassin, enter the past tense.
Yeah, you need to listen to that one.
That's a good one.
Do you happen to know what episode?
No, but it would be
I will
on
go
there.
back. Yeah.
And then we interviewed his wife, Marilyn, and kind of got her perspective of she had no idea what her husband did.
Oh
for
my gosh.
She'd been married for 27 years. She had no idea that he was doing this.
That's weird, because I can almost understand the secretive nature of what you'd have to keep to do that. But to live a lie, I don't mean to pass judgment, but for me, I'm thinking to live a lie with your spouse for that long.
But he fell into alcoholism and almost died, and that's how he couldn't handle it, and it's a neat story.
Oh,
it's a
wow.
great book.
The book writing was almost the healing process. It was the whole healing process for him. Yeah, so it's a very cool.
And so you interviewed him first?
Right.
Yes.
And then you interviewed her?
Right.
Oh, I am so going back. I feel so bad for not keeping up. I mean, I'm subscribed to 70, 80 podcasts.
It's hard.
But no, that is interesting. I definitely want to hear that now.
That's one of our more male-oriented kinds of shows, right?
You know what's weird though? You guys have. I know you have mentioned Stephanie and her close friend Sarah, and she's doing the full-time mom. And I'm so glad she's doing it. I started out co-hosting over there. It's like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
It's like, I got to get out of here. So I'm so glad she did that. But one of the things that I realized is that probably about 25 to 30% of the subscribers and listeners to her show are men.
Wow, she's got a lot of men.
She has a lot of men. And actually, they email me all the time and say, one of my favorite shows that you guys produce is The Full-Time Mom. And it's because they share things that go through the minds of their wives and their daughters.
Get perspective.
And they get perspective. And so there are a lot of men that would like to be able to understand a little bit more about how a woman processes the different inputs in life. And so I would be... Have you ever done any kind of audience surveys of who are listening to you guys?
We have, and it's primarily women.
Is it primarily women?
It's about 90%.
Okay.
But every once in a while we'll get an email or voicemail from a guy. I don't know. The guys probably don't want to admit that they listen to us, but I don't know.
Well, I'm not ashamed to say that I enjoyed it when I listened. I really... I always just enjoy conversation. That's one of my favorite things in podcasting. You guys, if you listen to anything, you know that we don't script anything, and I try never to edit anything. And so, unless we say something really stupid, then I have to go take that out. But that's
what I appreciate about you, because you put it out there and share. You share so much of yourself, and I think that's what people enjoy. It's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I love about the DivaCast, of what I've heard of it. It's just sitting down at the table with a bunch of friends, and you,
Yes.
and I feel as though I'm at the table with you, and it doesn't matter that I'm a guy, and I listen. It's just interesting.
Well, one of our latest shows, we interviewed it was a little explicit, but a sex therapist, and talked about all the relationship stuff and the sex stuff, and it was really, I think it's a very eye-opening.
No, that's great. And one of the things that I'm sure if you've heard us talk, there should be no tie-in. You should not have to use explicit and sex at the same time. I mean, sex is a God-given thing, you know?
Yeah, right.
And so, by golly, and especially with our children,
Right.
that's something that Stephanie and I are really huge in. It's like, you know, we talk to our children about their penis and vagina, and you notice that I'm not blushing saying that in front of you. It's just,
Right.
those are real
That's
things,
right,
and it's
yes.
real life. And if we kind of blush and it's like, I can't talk about that,
Right.
then your children would be afraid to talk about it, and the only person that's going to talk to them is their friends at school.
And then you don't want them to get
You
that
don't
message.
get that input.
But
Yeah.
that's what this woman, her name is Dr. Lori Buckley, and she said that. She's like, to give them the information, but to instill your values.
Yes.
and your morals and your
Right.
morality and
Right.
Well, that's good. I'll even have to listen to that. Well, thank you.
There you go. Thank
and
you
now,
very much.
who's not here? So tell us. I know you said
Suzanne,
Suzanne.
and then we've got Amy and Julie.
Okay, and where are they at?
Well, for other reasons, they had other obligations, so we're
family and Amy
You guys
had
are
a
the-
conference and
Now, are you guys from Nashville?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay, so you drove up here. Okay,
Right.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
And
Well,
I'm
I'm-
glad we did. It's been a great experience.
It really
Thank you.
has.
I really appreciate, you know what I appreciate is the way you and everybody that got up on stage, it's such a nice, it's cooperative, it's everybody wants to help each other.
Yeah.
There's no feeling of competition. You know, it's awesome. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
I do love it. I mean, it's like a family. The whole community is.
Yeah.
And for those of your listeners who weren't here, your energy, your love, was referenced a gazillion times because you're so real about it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Passionate,
Yes.
enthusiastic.
Yes.
Yes. Maybe a motivational speaker one day.
There you go.
I think you already are, Cliff.
You
Yes,
think
you
so?
are. Yes, you
Definitely
are.
for the podcasters.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. It was
Thank
great talking with
you.
you guys. And where they can find you at?
TheDivaCast.com. No spaces.
No spaces. TheDivaCast.com.
All righty, thedivacast.com. Go check them out, folks. They are really a wonderful podcasting team, and I think if you haven't listened to them and you're looking for a new podcast to listen to fill the time, they are wonderful, high energy, high octane, and it was wonderful to get to meet them face to face finally, at least two of them anyway, and looking forward to the opportunity to hooking up with them again in the future and continuing on the conversation and yeah, I'm just glad I had an opportunity to sit down and talk with them. Now, let's see here. The next clip I'm playing for you is going to be a conversation that I had with somebody that I met for the very first time at Podcamp Nashville, and his name is Mitch Cantor, and I'm just going to go ahead and play that clip for you now. Okay, so I'm here at, where are we, by the way?
The Big Bang.
The Big Bang. And this is the post-Podcamp Nashville party, and I'm sitting here with Mitch Cantor. Mitch, how you doing?
Doing good. Doing really well.
So I just met you today, and have not heard any of your podcasts or anything. I'd like to know, tell me a little bit about Mitch and what you're doing in new media.
Sure. I've only been podcasting for a little while. I really got my start in blogging. I started with a Blurty account about 7 or 8 years ago when it was really starting to take hold. And I just realized then that this was something that was really big. The ability to put somebody's thoughts down from wherever and whenever and not have to worry about, well, the code is going to be right or whatever, but just being able to focus on what's really important, which is writing. So I graduated from Blurty into Blogger and then finally into WordPress where I remain to this day. But I do a lot of new media. I do a lot of design, especially. And then I also do dabble a little bit here and there in podcasting.
Great. So let me ask you, what are you podcasting and blogging about?
Actually, it's just a live podcast. It's just basically I call in on my cell phone and just kind of record the thought of the moment, and whatever response I get, I'll talk about it on the next one. And it's just an ongoing conversation between myself and people who happen to hear what I have to say.
Great. And are you using Utters to do that?
I am using Utters. I'm a big fan of Utters because I believe that anybody can be a podcaster.
Yep.
I know a lot of people worry that, well, I don't have the equipment, or I don't have a microphone, or I don't have a voice for it. But if you have a cell phone and feel comfortable talking on a phone, then anybody can be a podcaster. So it's a great tool for anyone that wants to get into the business.
You know, I can almost, I mean, of course, I'm such a, I get too hung up on the quality of my audio. I don't know what it is personally. I mean, I think there are a lot of phone-in podcasts that work great, but one of the benefits of that is that, you know, you could be walking down the street talking on the phone and explaining things, whereas I walk around with this in my hand and I'm like just doing this and I'm talking and I'm like walking by people and they look at me like I'm nuts, you know? So that would be one advantage to using the phone podcasting.
It's very stream of conscious. I don't like to script what I'm talking about, and I will go back if it sounds ridiculous. I'll go back and I can re-record it, or if something interrupts me during it. But for the most part, I just kind of call in, and whatever I say, and if later I end up, you know, regretting it or whatever, you know, life's too short to regret what happened. So it's just, you just got to go with it, and whatever happens will happen. So.
Absolutely. So let me ask you the process that you're using. So you call into Utters. Obviously, Utters has the ability to auto-post to like the entire world, I think.
Yeah, it does.
Explain to me your process. So you call it in, and then where does it go from there for you?
I call it in, and then I can go online to the website if I make it there in time. You have 10 minutes between when you call in to when it actually goes out to the different services.
Yep.
So I go to the website, and I can change the title. I can add pictures, text, whatever.
Right.
And then it will go to my Twitter account, which will allow all my Twitter peoples to follow what I'm doing. It'll go to my weblog, which will let everyone else know what I'm doing. And I found out from you today that it goes to an RSS feed, so I may actually be trying to get it onto iTunes or one of the other podcast directories to get it out to a wider audience.
So now I recall using the auto poster. I started using Utters when it first came out. And I remember, of course, they have the nice embeddable Flash player, which is beautiful, by the way. I love their Flash widget. It's just amazing.
It's so pretty.
Now, I did not like the auto posting to WordPress. The formatting was just too gaudy for me. I'm an ultra perfectionist, and so if anything's just even slightly off center or something like that, it drives me crazy when it doesn't fit in with my blog theme. So when you go in, let me ask, is it giving you the link to the MP3 file in the entry?
No, it's actually embedding the entry inside the file. What a lot of people don't realize is that, like a lot of the things that are on the internet right now, Utters is controlled consistently by CSS. So you can actually go into a cascading style sheet that's loaded by your blog and override any of the settings that they have. If they have black text and links that are blue, you can change everything to my thing would be white, because I have a dark weblog with white text.
Right.
So I change everything to white, and I actually use the Utters comments instead of WordPress. So I have full control over what's text and what is shown on the blog. And WordPress is powerful enough to be able to cater to that need. I actually have two different loops, which a loop is what controls the WordPress blogging template. I have one that calls my regular text post, and then I have one at the bottom that actually controls video and audio posts through Utters. So I have full control over whatever I want to post on it.
Gotcha. So here's the one thing I'm thinking. Okay, so this auto posting, does it embed a Flash player? So like when it posts to WordPress, it's Flash.
Yes.
So it's not actually it's not embedding the link to the MP3.
No, there's a play button, and I can go right in and hit play.
See, now here's the deal, and I know this for a fact. If you go, like I had told you in the thing today, if you go to Utters and click on My Utters, you'll see an RSS link. Now, if you click on that RSS, it'll show you the XML. You will not see any MP3 files. However, you take that and just take that RSS feed and throw it right into iTunes, boom, it immediately starts downloading the MP3s.
Wow.
I have no idea why they're hiding those MP3 files.
No.
It makes me angry. Because it sounds to me, well, number one, I know for a fact they have them because I've downloaded them.
Right.
Okay, so I'm thinking, by golly, why don't you just take the embed code and embed the link to that MP3 file, which would then automatically get enclosed and get sent out to my blog, or sent out via my RSS feed.
That would make it a lot easier, I would think, but
yeah,
I don't know.
One of the things that I've been thinking about for myself, of course, I have, we have a monthly support team for, people who enjoy all the content that we produce, and I do so much. I have a podcast called My Crazy Life, which it's very much what you're talking about, but it's fully produced, kind of high quality, or it's one of these,
Right.
I definitely go through a lot of work to put it together still.
Sure.
But I'm out in the car quite a bit, and I'll record a lot of others' messages, and I let it go to Twitter, but I really don't do much more other than the embed player.
Right.
Because, like I said, I don't like the auto-posting. So one of the things I've been thinking about is making that RSS feed and turning it into a podcast, and kind of only publicizing that feed for people who support, on the monthly support team. It's kind of a benefit. It's not like I'm keeping people from getting it if they want it. It's available for free on my Utters account. You can follow me on Twitter and get it for free and stuff like that. But there's always a convenience about being able to subscribe to something and have it downloaded automatically for you.
Exactly. And RSS is making everything so easy to get, especially since Firefox has had native support for RSS since RSS came out. They were the first ones to really embrace it, and all the Internet Explorer people are really missing out because they just don't have the ability to go on. And if I want to find out what's happening to even my Facebook friends, I go on to my live bookmark, which is on Firefox. Oh, well, so-and-so's doing this, so-and-so's doing this. RSS is making information so much more accessible. It's just fantastic.
Absolutely.
And I think that with video casting and even podcasting going the direction they're going in, RSS is going to become so important, and it just blows my mind how quickly everything is advancing, how much it is. It's really, to use the cliche phrase, it's the wave of the future, but it is. That's just the way it is.
Absolutely. I mean, I could not imagine what it would be like to have to actually go to somebody's website to see what's new.
Yeah. I mean,
it's unheard of.
It's funny, though. As a designer, I try to make people's websites look extremely nice, and that's what I do. But then at the same time, the new media is pushing it a different direction.
Yeah.
It's almost like you visit people's websites for a novelty, and just to see, oh, well, they've got a really nice design. But you go to that first time, and then you just don't have to go back anymore.
Well, I would. The only thing I would argue there is I think it's still extremely important to have that wonderful looking website.
Exactly.
Because it is your brand. It is your personality. It's on the web. And my gosh, that's a lot of Elton John tonight.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's Billy Joel. Okay, never mind.
Oh, wow.
Okay. But they started out with like 5 different Elton John songs.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say though is that there's a lot of content that's delivered via RSS, but there is a wealth of static information still that's available on websites that still has to be there.
Exactly. I mean, especially with mine, I try to, with my weblog personally, which is studionashvegas.com, I try to promote people that I think, I had the Podcamp promoted. You couldn't find that in my RSS unless I posted about it.
Right.
Scott Shortley, one of the other presenters today at Podcamp, I do some work for him, so I have him on my website. You wouldn't be able to know that until you actually went to my website. But there's so much information that's there. As a designer, I want to make websites look nice, but at the same time, I realize that it's actually the back end, the content, that's really going to reign supreme when it comes to the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's a very fine balance. If you have a nice looking website, people will see you and they'll know that you're for real. If you have great content, then that just supports it even more.
Yeah.
And you can have one without the other, but it sort of jades the look.
You have. I don't think you can have one without the other. Honestly, I think if you have a beautiful looking website
but
with no content that's generated, people will only come to your website once.
That's true.
And then it's a done deal. But when you give me the ability to come to your website and you have RSS, your RSS is what keeps you in my mind.
Right.
It keeps you in front of my eyes.
I like to put this new media into perspective by looking at all of the political campaigns. I mean, you see road signs, you see commercials, you see billboards, you see hand-painted signs in the case of some of the candidates. And they're not really there to sway you one way or the other. It's just like, hey, I still exist.
Yes.
And I think that if anyone embraces that, unfortunately, as bad as I hate to say it, with the political candidates, with all of their name advertising, because that's all they advertise is name. I mean, they know what they're doing. It's the saying goes, out of sight, out of mind. And if you're out of someone's sight, they're not going to remember who you are.
Yeah. I think it's really amazing the number of businesses today, even small businesses, that just don't have a decent website, and they're just missing out. I mean, I think our generation. I don't know about you, but me, when I go to a business and I want to find out information, I don't want their printed information.
Right.
I don't have room for that in my house or on my office. It clutters up my desk.
Right.
I don't want you to mail me your newsletter. I don't. As a matter of fact, I keep one of my trash cans right by the mailbox so I can dump it straight in there. So you have to have it. If you want to communicate with me digitally.
Right.
And so, but it's amazing that there are companies that either they don't have a website or they just paid somebody $50 to put it together.
Right. They paid their little brother to throw a couple of pictures and some text on there. And I'll even take you one step further. I want a website that I know is going to update occasionally. There are websites out there that have been out there since 99, 2000, 2001. And granted, when they were there at that time, they were cutting edge. Now you're going to be lucky if you can cut an apple with it. If you want to take it back into an iPhone, because there are all these websites out there that you don't know if they're still existing. You don't know if they've updated in years. So instead of a website, I will read a company's blog before I will read their website. Just because, as long as the post date is not more than a month away, I know that they're still existing, and I know that they're still actively doing stuff in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. And so, now where do you work at?
I own my own design firm. I do media consulting as well. You can find me online at www.studionashvegas.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can find me at twitter.com/studionashvegas. And those are really my main points of entry, because there's just the conversations I have with people there. I've met so many awesome people there, and it's just great. So
let me ask you one last question.
Sure.
When you're designing a business website, would you ever say there's a reason why you should or should not use WordPress to actually drive and run your actual business website?
WordPress is one of those versatile programs that can be used for anything. I would actually highly recommend using WordPress for a company website, simply because of the fact is you can have all of these static web pages there.
Yes.
But you can have that one dynamic content that keeps your site fresh and up to date, and it lets people know that you're there.
Or, but better than that, you can have categories.
Exactly.
And every category has its own RSS feed.
That's right.
That's the one thing I love about WordPress. GSPN.TV, people say, Cliff, how in the world do you manage 17 podcasts? Well, the truth is, I manage one WordPress installation, and every podcast is its own category.
Every category has an RSS feed. Every author has an RSS feed. The guy I'm working for now, Scott Shirley, we have 5 different authors that update the Storyboard blog, which is ethos3.com/blog. We have 5 different authors. I'm the Design Jedi. There's the author of Creativity. There's the Chief Rebel. And we all can subscribe and find out who's watching us by simply our RSS feeds. So the potential in WordPress is absolutely amazing.
So I'm glad to hear that there are people out there that are proponent for that. So very cool, very cool. I was thinking about switching all of my clients that have business websites over to WordPress.
The cool thing of WordPress is, and a lot of people think, oh, it's WordPress, it's a lot different. No, I do my web design in Dreamweaver, and then I just copy the code over. WordPress is so versatile that you can insert one snippet of code, and it will make any website into a weblog. No matter how simple, no matter how website-ish it looks, there is one set of code you enter. It's called the loop, and it controls everything between the statements, that is the blog, and everything is controlled from there. So WordPress can be put into any existing website, any existing blog can be transported over. WordPress can import any kind of content, typepad, movable type, Blogger, anything you need can be imported into WordPress, and it's just so versatile. The guys at WordPress really know what they're doing when they when they design their software. They wanted something that was easy to use and very easy to keep using, and that's what they did. So
yeah, it's amazing.
Stuff.
All right, well, this has been a conversation with Mitch Cantor, and they can find you on the web at
StudioNashVegas.com.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, that was my conversation with Mitch Cantor, and I'm going to end the notes on here with a conversation that I had with Dave Delaney, who happened to be one of the Podcamp Nashville sponsors, or not sponsors, but organizers, and he did a wonderful job. Again, in episode 51, I did share my two major gripes, the 20-minute length of the talking and the fact that it was very difficult to practice the law of 2 feet. However, that being said, I did make some wonderful connections, and in fact, one of them was having the ability to sit down and talk with David, and here's what we talked about.
Okay, so I'm sitting here with David Delaney, or is it Dave Delaney?
Dave.
Dave, okay.
I like Dave.
Dave.
Unless you're my mother and I'm in trouble.
All right.
Then it's Dave.
Dave, it is an honor to meet you today. I had not known anything about you until last night.
Yeah.
And I guess you are part of Podcamp Nashville, putting it together.
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
Well, Podcamp Nashville is sort of in a way, sort of a spin-off, if you will, of Barcamp Nashville, which we did last August. I'm from Toronto. It's sort of a long-winded story, but I'm from Toronto, Canada, originally, Toronto, and moved to Nashville back last May. Got a job at a company called Emma, which is an email marketing company, with a guy named Marcus Whitney, who's from the Bronx, originally, New York. Marcus and I connected straight away and hit it off really well, and decided, before I got hired, to create Barcamp Nashville. And it was a huge success. So we decided to do Podcamp Nashville with Kelly Stewart, it was really Kelly Stewart and I and Marcus helping as well. But decided to embrace the sort of podcasting, blogging, and new media communities in and around Nashville, and kind of take it from there. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me about your involvement in podcasting and new media. What are you personally doing?
Well, I used to run BBS on my Commodore 64 when I was a teenager, when I was a preteen. And I have it in my little bio on my blog, but it was amazing that like late at night, my ringer would be turned off, and my hard drive, my disk drive would turn green. Suddenly from red to green it would be, and I'd hear it moving. My monitor would be turned off too, and I know somebody was in my computer using it. And so I'd get out of bed, and the room would turn green from the light, and I'd turn on the monitor and get into chat mode and chat as a sysops with whoever was online.
Did you use Wildcat software?
Oh God, it's been so long. I don't even remember, to be honest. It's terrible that I say that, but I honestly don't remember. It's been so long. But anyway, so got into BBSing at a pretty early age, and then as I got older, I got into podcasting, and Don and Drew were an inspiration for me. And so my wife and I created a podcast called Two Boobs and a Baby, later called Two Boobs and a Baby Plus, which is twoboobsandababy.com, shameless plug.
Awesome.
And we started that in October 2005, and we decided to chronicle and create an audio baby book, sort of for our friends and family, about our kids and how they're going. And then we started the first two episodes was before our first child was born, Sam.
Right. Third
was when Sam was born. Episode 28 is when Ella was born. We actually recorded in the OR of Ella being born. Edited, of course. So that was sort of my history with podcasts.
I'm assuming that would be an audio podcast.
An audio podcast, yes. Yeah. This is 2005, man. Way before vlogs. What was that? So I've been blogging for a while too, and but started taking it more seriously last year. I created DaveMadeThat.com, sort of a spin-off of DaveMadeThis.com when I used to do some web development stuff. and a silly blog. I take DaveMadeThat.com, and that's where my blog is, and that's sort of where I live online now, Dave Made That, and it sort of hosts where everything I do is sort of at Dave Made That.
Gotcha. Now, so the only podcast you're producing right now is the Two Boobs and a Baby?
No, actually, I've started a new show called The Nothing Show.
The Nothing Show. That's
Right.
the one you mentioned today. So tell me about The Nothing Show.
The Nothing Show is a crazy, creepy, weird, funny, quirky, weird show. I said weird twice because it's just that weird. What it is, if you use Twitter, you'll understand this. If you don't, you probably won't. But
Oh, yeah. I know the story now because I heard it today. Tell my audience because I think they're going to love this.
okay, the idea is, so it's nothingshow.com. And what it is a podcast I created with Tim Coyne, who co-created it, from the Hollywood Podcast in LA. We met at a conference in Ontario at Podcasting and Media Expo, and kind of concocted this podcast that we do over Skype. And basically what it is it's 10-minute episodes, as often as we can. I choose a person on Twitter. He chooses a person on Twitter, and we print out about 5 pages of their most recent tweets.
That is awesome.
And we use these tweets as the script to the show.
Okay.
And we don't read them consecutively. We kind of pick them out as we go do. But everything's done on the fly. There's no pre-rehearsing, nothing like that. And it's based off. Tim is an actor in LA, and I used to do improv comedy acting. I trained with Second City in Toronto, and I've done improv comedy for on and off over the years. And so we came up with this idea, and it's based on an old improv game called Sentences, where you ask your audience to write down scripts, lines of dialogue, and you scrumple them all up, and you put them on stage, and you create a scene around that, picking up these lines and reading people's dialogue, sentences.
Right.
And so it's based on that, and so it's been really well received. It's been doing great.
That sounds interesting. I mean, I can almost not visualize, but
Yeah.
How do you visualize audio?
Yeah, audio-wise, I'm not really sure.
I can almost audioize that.
Yeah.
But it sounds intriguing, and I'd love to see the delivery of it. So,
Well, actually, before I cut you off, or as I cut you off, sorry. Tim is going to be speaking at the Canadian Podcast Buffet. Is a great Canadian podcast that features, and they have the Features Canadian Podcast, and they have an event every year called the Podcasters Across Borders, which is in Kingston, Ontario. Podcastersacrossborders.com.
Yep.
And so he's coming this year, and I'm going to be there. So we're going to do a live
great
episode of The Nothing Show. So if anybody who's going to that conference, will be able to watch us record it live.
Awesome. Well,
and it'll be the first time doing that, too.
This is going out on the podcastanswerman.com podcast.
Nice.
So
Cool.
There are plenty of podcasters that will be out there. So
Cool, yeah.
Check out the Nothing Show at nothingshow.com. See if you like that. If you do, then go watch that live one and tell me you heard about them on the Podcast Answer Man.
Definitely.
So, yeah. So, now you're married. Now, you and your wife, let me ask you, because you guys podcast together, right?
Right.
And you've done how many shows now?
We're almost at 50.
Okay. Now, I'll tell you one of...
guys.
Hey, thanks a lot. It was great meeting you today.
You too. See you later.
So,
Man, I enjoyed it. This is great.
Great to meet you.
I didn't get a chance to talk to you, but man, I love your passion.
oh, thank you,
You
sir.
know,
Thank
it's
you.
all about. I mean, I think it was really great how we all had sort of the same message and we all just kind of learned.
Yeah. I tell you what, the community in this place is just amazing.
I know, isn't it great?
It is. It is
I
just
love
good
that.
stuff.
No matter where we're coming from, there's all that whole sense.
That's right.
Good seeing you guys, man. It's great to meet you.
All right.
So good. Yeah, we'll see you again.
See you later.
Keep in touch.
So one of the things that I found, a lot of people ask, you do 17 podcasts, Cliff, right? And they're like, how in the world do you have time with your family?
Right.
What people don't understand is that like 9 of those podcasts are co-hosted with my wife.
Right, yeah.
And it's like you cannot have more meaningful conversation with your wife than behind a microphone.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
I mean, and so tell me, what is your experience with that?
As the years, we've been podcasting since October 2005, as I mentioned, and at first it was easy to do, and as the kids have gotten older and more labor intensive, it's gotten more difficult to produce episodes frequently. Just because we're both taxed, we're exhausted, we have jobs and everything else that we do. So it's hard for us to connect, but to do a podcast frequently. But when we do, we both agree afterwards. We're like, why aren't we doing this more often? Because we sit back, we have such a laugh, we reflect, we have just a good laugh about what's been going on. And our podcast, we don't claim to be, experts. It's not about parenting. I mean, it is about parenting, but coming from boobs. We're the boobs. It's not about breasts. It's about dolts and idiots, which we are. We know nothing about parenting. We're learning, like most parents.
Okay. I have to admit, the 2 boobs and the baby, I totally just now got the fact that it's not the boobs.
Right. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Trust me. What if you Google 2 boobs? Guess it comes up number 1.
You guys,
we did, and trust me, the turnaround on the analytics when I look, there's a lot of people that come to the site and go, "Oh, good God, I don't want this. I'm looking for porn or whatever."
So here's another thing. Okay, one of the things that's really healthy for our children is for our children to see mom and dad interact with each other, and to know that they love each other. That's where a child's confidence really comes from.
Right.
Matter of fact, a lot of I don't know if you've ever heard this. The children who wet the bed oftentimes wet the bed to get both of you guys involved. And sometimes if a child acts out a lot and anger, writes on the walls and stuff like that, a lot of that's a sign that mom and dad aren't spending enough time together in front of the child.
Interesting.
And so what's amazing with podcasting is to know that your children one day will be able to sit down and listen to this and hear these conversations.
And that's a big point, the big reason why we do the show. I mean, our kids are a little young at this point, I think. I mean, they're 1 and 2. So,
it's a bit young.
To be showing us those signs necessarily, I think. But I mean, the whole essence of our podcast is really an audio baby book. And it is for the fact that, like, not only can our kids listen to it, but their kids can listen to it, and their kids can listen to it. And, hopefully the geek thing will keep within the family so they can convert the file to whatever crazy, whatever's in the future so that they can hear it.
Listen to this. My daughter is 8 years old. Of course, I've told you about her.
Yeah.
She has her own podcast.
That's amazing.
She has her own podcast. She has her own iPod.
Yeah.
And she is subscribed to all of our shows.
That's awesome.
And she listens to mom and dad talk all the time.
You gotta be careful.
but the thing is that's the one thing for us. We're always just real open with our kids anyway.
Right.
And it's like to hear mom and dad talk about things, to joke and to have fun and to be best friends with one another.
Yeah.
It's huge. My son, same thing. He's 6 years old, has his own iPod, and he always says, "Dad, I heard what you said about me on the podcast the other night." Our daughter is 2. She's almost 3. She has her own iPod, but she's still it's a video iPod, so she's still watching Dora on it. She's not listening to us yet. But it's a whole different dynamic when husbands and wives are podcasting together. There's the communication there. So I'm glad that that's something you guys are doing as well.
And like I said, we were inspired by Don and Drew, Rachel and Andy, because they were doing it. And I mean, it's, back in the day, and I look at like Chris and Betsy Smith from the Croncast. I don't know if you're familiar with their show, but they do an awesome couples cast. One of my favorite couple casts is the Croncast, and just so much fun. They have such a hoot doing it, and I think that's what it's all about. And it is this weird. It is. I mean, whether you have kids or not, even it's just it's almost therapeutic in a way to just reflect on the week that was or the last few days and have a laugh about things. And again, I mean, we do it, like I said, so that our kids can listen to it later. But what's so cool is that we started doing it. We put it on iTunes, and suddenly people started emailing us saying, "Oh my gosh, what pacifier are you using?" Or asking us for tips. So we've been given tips for a long time, and sort of, like I said, we're not experts, we don't claim to be, but we're learning like most new parents, and it's great, And I just had an email recently from a listener who just listened to episode 1 and was asking us for a couple references from some of the points you were making in episode 1, and I'm like, oh my God, episode 1. Yeah, I'm afraid to listen to episode 1.
All right, so if people wanted to find you on the web, the couple places are
DaveMadeThat.com. That has Two Boobs and Baby, The Nothing Show, my blog, my links to my Flickr account, my Twitter account, my Last.fm account, where I work, Emma, email marketing. So everything is at DaveMadeThat.com. That's where you can find me.
All right, DaveMadeThat.com. Just real quick, before we leave, what is the one or two things that you would tell people who are thinking about podcasting about its effectiveness, what it means to you as far as a means? I mean, is there any benefit beyond the whole I just feel good about it? I mean, what kind of connections have you made as a result of being involved in this space that has helped you not just personally but professionally? Or is there anything like that you would say, this is why you should really consider possibly getting into the space?
Well, I mean, there's always the question of monetization and all that. And personally, I hate the word. And yeah, I mean, I'd love to get a deal or a sponsorship for Two Dudes or the Nothing Show where that would afford to pay me to stay at home and work from home and spend more time with my family. That would be amazing. But I'm not. I mean, I'm also realistic too, I guess. And I don't know. So I don't know. My tip really is for anybody that's interested to just get started. And first of all, let me just say, you can email me at davemadeThat@gmail.com or twoboobs@gmail.com, whatever. Email me if you want advice or help. I'm more than willing to help anybody who wants to get started podcasting. Whether it's advice, whether it's something, if it's something I don't know about, I'll do my best to lead you in the directions. I just recently got an email from a woman who wants to start a podcast. It's a great idea. I won't ruin it for her, but she wanted ideas about mics, and I really don't know much about mics, but I put her in touch with some guys who know stuff about mics. So I guess the idea is that there's this incredible community and a growing community, rapidly growing community, and I think that's a big thing. I mean, it's just solidifying these relationships, and I don't know. I'm all across the map here, but it's really just, it's about relationships and building relationships, and community. And it's, don't do it just to get rich or expect to get rich or for
just
money.
So you know, where I was going with that question is professionally, has there been, in your marketing business?
Yes.
I mean, I guess more along the lines of where I was going with that is as a result of you getting into the podcasting field,
right,
have you made connections that you never would have made otherwise that have helped you in your profession?
Well, Marcus Whitney is a perfect example of that, who, was a technology director at Emma, the email marketing company I work at. I mean, he was the one who decided, really, he filled me up over coffee to make sure that I was the guy for the job as a new media specialist for the company. And Emma is one of these amazing companies, and I'm not a stakeholder or shareholder aside, from keeping my job there. But it's one of these companies that are understanding new media in the sense that they've hired me, a specialist in new media. And so I am the guy. So from all the stuff I've learned from doing podcasting and blogging and everything, social networking, they've hired me as that person to specialize in that, to monitor their brand, to make sure that Emma's doing well online, and to be sort of an evangelist in a way for Emma too. And I don't lie. Emma's an amazing place to work, an amazing group of people, and an amazing service. So for me,
absolutely,
it's a win. I've got the job because of the experience that I've gained just on my own, sort of in a hobby sort of level.
Awesome.
So they allow me to do consulting and freelance stuff too. So should anybody have an interest in asking me about Twitter or podcasts or whatever, on a consulting level and a business level, they're cool with me doing that. Most of the people that work there were in Nashville. Most of the people that work there are musicians and have gigs, and everybody has other jobs, other hobbies, whatever. And they encourage that and they support that, and that's one of the coolest things about working there. So.
Very cool. Well, everybody, this has been me chatting with Dave Delaney. You can follow him on Twitter at twitter.com/Dave Delaney. Dave, thank you very much.
Thanks, Cliff. It's been a pleasure.
Alrighty, so that was my conversation with Dave Delaney, and again, you can just get a sense, I think from these conversations, just a little bit of the networking and conversations that one can have when you get together with other podcasters. And I will say that the party that happened after Podcamp Nashville was amazing. It did give a wonderful opportunity to all of us to get together and have that little bit of connection time that kind of we missed during the session times today, when maybe there was a session or two that we weren't quite interested in because it maybe didn't reach us at the level where we were at. we kind of missed out on some of those conversations. The only problem is that not everybody came to the afterwards party. And so, it was what it was, and and I had a great time. All I can say is I had a great time. And before I go, two things. I want to say, first of all, thank you to Evan Agee over at Agee Design for sponsoring the Podcast Answer Man. You can get 20% off if you mention the Podcast Answer Man after going to ageedesign.com/podcast. That's ageedesign.com/podcast. Mention the Podcast Answer Man, 20% off of anything he does. So definitely check that out. Let him know that I sent you over there. A lot of my listeners have told me that they've used Evan, that they've contacted him, and they are enjoying the service and quality of work that he is providing. Also, being that this is my review of Podcamp Nashville, I went down the first night and did not have any. I didn't go to Podcamp Nashville with any plans as far as a place to sleep at night. So the first night I got down there, I was hoping that I might have ran into somebody. My good friend Scott, Sheriff, who lives in Nashville, unfortunately was unavailable because he was out touring with Stephen Curtis Chapman. He's a keyboardist in the band there. And a matter of fact, I'm hooking up with him Friday. Stephanie and I are going to go see him and in the band and go hang out at the concert Friday night here in Cincinnati. Anyway, so he wasn't available. I ended up staying at a very inexpensive hotel down there in Nashville. However, the Saturday night, or I guess was that Saturday night? Yeah, Saturday night, I did have a wonderful opportunity to stay the night in the guest room of a wonderful guy. His name is Jonathan Nation, and he and his wife opened up their home and their guest room to me that evening. Jonathan is very into podcasting. You ought to check out artistinsider.com. And he's a great business-minded person. And the two of us stayed up and probably talked until about 3:30 in the morning, just having some wonderful conversation. And made it for some very tiring travel home the next day, but it was worth every minute of it just to connect with him and have the conversations we did, and to have a nice place to sleep at night. So, Jonathan, thank you to you and your wife for providing a place for me to rest my head on Saturday evening. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and run on out of here. I hope that these episodes have been somewhat enlightening, just hearing some of the vitality, the energy that had come out of Podcamp Nashville. Very enjoyable evenings, enjoyable time there. And I hope that if you ever get an opportunity to go to a Podcamp, that you will do so. I guarantee you'll have fun. And until next time, join the community.